Yes, we are live. Finally, I got this figured out.
We're going to a third party, and I hope it's the right third party and not just some place out in Bodunk nowhere.
No, it says meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. So we can ask our many fans on Facebook, all three of them out there, if they
I
can
will
see
look,
us.
I will look onto the community homepage and see if we got some fabulous results.
In the meantime, while Mr. Beans is doing that, hey everybody, my name is Fort Cunningham, and I'm here with the world's handsomest man, the guru of love, Frank Oliver Beans. This is
Hey,
the Pork and Beans show, and we're kind of back, kind of half-assed back, or coming back. I don't know. A comeback. What do you call it? We're on the air. Hey, we're
Yes.
joined today by
come
Jerrod
back.
Taylor, and we're going to get into talking to Jerrod. I've been on his show just a few days ago, and it was an enjoyable experience. And getting to know Jerrod a bit, and we're going to get into his story in just a little bit. So, are we live, Beans?
Yeah, we're live on Facebook on the
We
Pork
are.
and Beans Show group,
All
and there's
right.
nobody even knows.
We're live. Let's do this.
We got
So,
we got 1,800 members, and nobody shows up. Nobody's panting, holding on to their fingernails, like waiting for the show.
is there nobody there?
Mostly you get the next day. Oh, did you guys have a show last night?
I'll catch it when I can.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
And
I've
read
kind of,
I'll catch it tomorrow. I gotta go to sleep now. Yeah.
yeah.
it.
So, Jerrod, how did you get involved in the wonderful, magical world of Sasquatch? Take us
Well,
right back to the beginning.
the thing is, right? Like I've always known Sasquatch were real, like as a child, as a kid, even into my, teenage years, always known they were real. And
Why did you?
I,
What? Let
I
me. What? I'm sorry for
yeah,
I'm doing my old style, interrupting all the time. But I really want to
do
ask
it,
you, why did you
do
know
it.
they were real? Because of your culture, or you just had a feeling?
Or because
It
you
was
saw them
more
on TV.
Oh yeah, or you saw them on TV.
it was more like the feeling, like the books I was reading and uh obviously seeing them on TV for sure. And um I just always knew, man, I had this feeling, the feeling inside me. I just didn't know what it was yet. Like they've always been with me, right? And I I got into a bad drug addiction. I was a drug addict for many, many years. And Sasquatch like came back into my life through watching like videos on YouTube again when I was like in about 2017. And I continued to watch these stories about Sasquatch and being more interested in them, right? And eventually I got myself clean off of drugs and I was inspired to start Sasquatch Confessions. And I never knew I would have a connection like I do with Sasquatch. And I I did TikTok for 2 years before I'd ever even think about this stuff, right? Like the spiritual side of Sasquatch, anything like that. Like I was just out there kind of looking for evidence and searching around the woods, right? And it must have been August or mid-September when the grandfather stone came into my possession. Okay. Now, I did send you guys some
Yeah.
pictures.
Do you want
Are
that
you?
picture right away?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of talking about it.
Okay. Well, I'll get the grandfather stone up for you right away, and I think I've got it all lined up just where we want it to. I think. Let me
So
uh, just give
the
me a
grand,
second. I
yeah, no worries. I'll just continue telling the story here.
Yeah.
The grandfather stone came into my possession about a week or so before I seen the Sasquatch in 2022. my twin brother and a friend of mine, Ken, were out wandering around and putting up trail cameras, doing what they do. And they passed this log. It had 5 stones on it. They didn't think much of it. They went out, they did their thing. As they were coming back, they passed the log again. And they noticed these markings on the log or on the stone. So they took pictures of it and they end up coming home. And as soon as I see the pictures, I'm like amazed with it. Like, this is 100% something. Like, why didn't you guys bring that home? Right? That's so cool. And I did some local kind of research with the First Nations people here. And they told me it's a symbol they've been using for thousands of years. And it's like the Great Transformer. And so what I see on the stone is the symbol here. And then there's also a man and woman, which is probably the next picture. I can't hear you, Brian.
That's probably a good thing. Sometimes. Okay, so no, I just wanted to say, okay, so we can see the picture. So, okay, so here's the next picture. Perfect. Yeah,
So
go ahead.
once I figure out that what this means, to me, it means spiritual transformation from from spirit to physical body and vice versa. And I put this together and I go back out there 2 days later to the log to get this stone. And as I get out there, I'm out there by myself and I get up to the log where the boys told me where it was. And where there was 5 stones on the log, there's only 2 stones now. And then a staff, like about a 6-foot tall staff stick leaning against the log.
Yeah.
So I was like, to me right away, I knew like, okay, things changed, right? Like this is something's happening here for sure. So I take the stone and the staff and I walk out of there. And as I was walking out, I could literally, I'm pretty sure it's on video on my YouTube page. You can literally hear the footsteps walking with me. Like they were walking beside me.
Wow.
They were escorting me back to the truck, with the stone and staff in hand. And
To me, the staff means my meaning for the staff, and I'm getting this is that they want you to walk with them. Is that what you're getting?
well, it 100% is, all right? Like after all this happened and I had brought the stone home, I went out fishing a week later. I'll get into the walking part here in a sec on how I kind of put it together. We were out fishing, me and Sasquatch Seekers, my buddy James. We were fishing and we're on the Chehalis River, and it was September 24th, 2022. We were having a great day. The vibes were amazing. It was just like a perfect day, super hot out. I'm fishing. I'm literally only wearing my shorts. It was that hot out. I turn around, and in the tree line, I see this tall figure standing there, and it was head to toe in like a light brown color, right? And I'm just watching it, and she comes walking out, and the size of her the space between her legs was so big from where she was standing and what I'm looking at. That's the first thing I noticed, and I was like, holy shit, right? Like, and I looked at my buddy and I'm laughing. I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure we're having a Sasquatch encounter right here. So she comes walking out of the forest, and where she come walking from was the same direction where the stone was found, about in a straight line, maybe under a kilometer, under a kilometer away. And she come walking out, and she has this huge staff in her hand, okay? And it had to be at least 9 feet tall, the staff. Like it was a big stick. She comes walking out. She stands by, it was about I'm going to guess about 60 to 100 yards straight stretch of her walking in like plain sight for everyone to see, like straight up walking out there. she comes by the stump and she pauses there and she just turns and looks right at me. And it literally felt like forever at the moment. Like, I'm just like, holy crap, right? This is happening. And she turns away and walks through the water and out and over the bank and out of sight on the other side. And like, we went back down there to where she was standing. The stump was about 5.5 feet tall, and she was easily double the height of the stump. So she was a big girl.
Mm-hmm.
But it was strange too, because as she walked through the water in that section of the river, it gets really deep. And it was if not that she was floating on water, but like her height didn't change very much when she went through the river, right? And like as far as I'm concerned, it didn't really change at all. But she was in the water, but she wasn't, if you know what I'm saying. It was like she was
Yeah.
walking on the water. So that was the first time I'd seen a Sasquatch in,
Well,
in my adult life, right?
well, this is going to piss some people off. I know some religious people, but Jesus was a guru and a master. And I just got hit up with big energy. Somebody's telling me that confirming that. And if he could walk on water, I mean, the Sasquatch are big time gurus and masters too. So
Yeah.
why can't they do that?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I mean, they can appear out of thin air pretty well anywhere they want, just with the thoughts. So, it's not that big a leap, but I just wanted to put that in there. So go ahead, man. This is fascinating. I love this. I love this story because it's really touching my heart. 'Cause,
Oh man, it's just beginning. And it's
I
wild
know,
too,
I
because
know, I know, I know. Yeah.
it's like all this stuff has happened in the last year and a half. It's really changed my life, and like it's happening faster, since I got clean and got back on the right track, which is all help from my Sasquatch. And they're spiritually transforming me from who I was before to who I am now and who I will be in the future. So anyways, let me get back into the story here now. At the time, I was doing my TikTok lives regularly, right? And this was about a month after I'd seen the Sasquatch in September. And I would do my TikTok lives and be myself and do my thing. And this woman comes into my live and she gets my attention. She gets my attention. I'm reading her comments and stuff. And she says, "I have a message for you. Your Sasquatch, Saraya, wants to know that she walks with you and she guides you." And I just got the energy right now, like literally to say, when I say it, it just hits me. Like, as soon as I read those words, a giant hand palmed my head, like boom. And it was like 4 fingers across my forehead. I could feel its hand, its palm over my whole head. Its thumb was running down my neck and my back. And it squeezed me 3 times. Like, I could feel it squeeze my head 3 times. It was one of the most amazing. Like, I've had some amazing experiences in my life, but this was definitely one of them. The feeling I got from it was just like this crazy electrical vibration, this sensation that just kind of took over my freaking body, man. I could feel it everywhere, but it was, so strong where the hand was squeezing my head. So right then and there is when my life kind of started changing, because the Sasquatch came back into my life. Maybe we call that initiation, or them rekindling the connection that we've had probably my whole existence.
Mhm.
you know
At
Now,
that time, were you aware enough to know that they were coming back into your life, or now you're aware that they were coming back
no, I
into your
was
life?
I was aware. As soon as that happened, I knew that this was happening. I knew there was a connection there. I didn't realize how far back, but
That's cool, man.
over the year, it's just so much has happened, and So it's amazing, man. It's truly amazing. Like they've changed my life so much. I've changed spiritually. The person I am today is not the person I was yesterday. Like, oh, so that was about a month after I'd seen the Sasquatch. Now it must have been about another month or so later when they gave me back a memory of seeing them as a kid. I was about 8 years old. I am playing in the back, like in Mission here where I'm from. I'm from Mission, British Columbia, everybody. So if you know where that is, Sasquatch are here.
I do.
Yeah, yeah, you do.
I'm only like 20 minutes away from you or something.
Yes, you are. Now, in the back of Mission, it's very rural and like, forest and woods and stuff. My parents' friends were building a house back there, and I'm playing in the backyard. There's this like little creaky swamp area, and I'm standing by the creek, and on the other side, about 10 feet away from me, there's this 5 foot tall Sasquatch, covered all in black hair head to toe. And I'm just like, to me, I didn't think anything of it. It didn't scare me. I just thought like, oh, cool, right? And it's mimicking my movements. Like I squat down and it squats down. I grab the skunk cabbage and start playing with it. That's exactly what it's doing. And it's like mirroring my every movement. And when I think about it too, like the connection that I've always had with these Sasquatch people is why I wasn't scared as a kid.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it was just like so natural.
Yeah.
So natural.
That's how I explain it too. Because, most people would freak right out and but when I've had those kind of experiences and different ones but similar experience, I've been very like, that's cool. I just thought, man, that's cool. And that's because the connection is so close, right? And
Mhm. Mhm.
and anyway, yeah, I like that you said that because that just absolutely validates, you know, me, and it validates other people because that's how it is. So go ahead, my friend.
So now I don't remember exactly where I sent you all these pictures.
Yeah,
So
and I've got them all in sequence. I just took them down because it's nicer when we're talking and to be able to see us talking. But I got them ready to go when you want them up again.
now, what's the next ones after I have of the rock there? I was
Let
just
me
gonna,
look. Let me
because
just
I
look.
gotta go with my story
Yeah.
or experiences.
Where are we here? Geez, I thought. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now you got the people on the rock.
Mhm. So that this is just like the man and woman that are on the rock with the stone. Can we go to the next picture after the rocks?
There's
There's
the rock.
the
Oh, is
stone
that
and the
it's quite a big rock. Yeah, okay. There we go.
yeah. That's the Squatch gang, guys. The group of guys, my brothers, my twin brother, Ken, SG, and BC, and Sasquatch Seekers. This is a very special area for us. Where we've had experiences, we've filmed Sasquatch there. Um, it's up in the back of Chehalis area. Now, connecting the Sasquatch gang, like the Sasquatch guided me to connect the Squatch gang through the elements, like I say they're the masters of these things, right? The masters of elements. And on one of our walks where we went out, I go past the log and my quartz rock that I had left them in the middle of the log was still there. And we do this big loop that's probably about 7 kilometers. So as I'm approaching the log, I can see this stone. Like I'm walking through this, I don't know if it's riverbed or whatever you want to call it. It's all these stones, right? And there's this one black stone and it's standing out to me. It's just sticking right out. And half of it has been smashed like into shards. And it was a decent sized stone as well. So instantly, as I'm walking by it, I'm just like pulled to it to grab the shards. And I don't even think about it. It's instantaneously. I grab the shards and I jam them in my pocket. Now I'm walking up towards the log and I can see that my rock has moved. The one that was in the middle of the log is now on the one side of the log. So I'm like, whoa, things have changed, right? Like literally on our walk out here, things changed. Like that's cool, right? That's really interesting. So as I get closer to the log and I approach the log, I can see it's a completely different stone now. You know, it's my quartz stone is gone. And instantly I know this is the Sasquatch knowing. I'm assuming they give me this knowing, right? And I pull the shards out of my pocket and I know that one is for the Sasquatch, one is for each guy in my crew, and one is for me. And that the Sasquatch will take the stone that I give them. So I place the stone down and I take the new stone that they give me. And that's literally how they connected the Sasquatch. Like we're connected out there. We're protected by the Sasquatch. You know, everywhere we go out there, we don't have to worry about anything out there, you know? So it's just, that's just a little story about connecting the Sasquatch gang and how that they guided me to do it, I guess.
That's a cool story, man. I feel the same. I feel the same way. I feel protected out there. That said, you still want to be cautious or whatever, but I have been rescued from them and I do feel protected. So I like that you said that because that's the way it is, man, when you're connected with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Connected and protected. That's what I always say.
Yeah. Do you want to go to the next picture?
I think it's great that you
Yeah.
have some friends out there. You have some your squatching buddies. That's a good
Those are
thing.
my brothers, man. Those are my family, you know. This is my family. And we've all chose to be here in the same area, you know, like our energies, our souls are reincarnated here. And we've all been with each other so in so many lifetimes. Even you and me, Michael, and me and you, Brian. Like there's a reason why we're talking right now. And it's because we've been entangled in many lives, many lives before, you know.
I felt that. I felt that too.
Right.
So this is just a really cool structure that we found. We find these all like where we go up in Chehalis all the time. There's just one in that area where we go. I'll have to get you out there one day, Brian, to show you.
And vice versa. Because I recognize those kind of structures, but I mean, you've seen some of mine. They're quite a bit different when they do them in close to people because they're trying to get people's attention, right? So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get together. I'm kind of like solo now, except if I can just interject here just quickly.
Sure.
I was camping with my wife just on Wednesday night, and it was just a beautiful experience. Like everybody was just greeted with this envelope of love when they went in there. Like we knew it was going to be special. Everybody sort of just came together. And my friend Randy Brisson, who circumstances have prevented him from going to the woods for, I'm not going to get into his particulars for that's private stuff, but whatever, for like 3 or 4 months. So I haven't seen him, and I hadn't seen him for a while before that. And he's kind of like my mentor, and like we've had such amazing experiences together, and it's just like we're brothers, right? Like just like you say with your gang. I mean, just real brothers. And when we saw each other and came together there, the Sasquatch sent me this envelope of love that was just so freaking deep, man. And it was just like they were so happy to see us together again because, like we kind of, he was the first guy that really got me going on my journey, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it
Means
was
a lot.
it was amazing. And then they were doing all kinds of other amazing things. They did some wonderful stuff with my wife, and it was just like they were happy to see us back, and it was a celebration and kind of like a party. But anyway, enough of that. But
Mhm.
so yeah, we see all kinds of structures for sure, including these
Oh
kind.
my God.
What are we
So the
looking at
next
here?
here, let's see here. This is just the same area. Just showing you guys kind of my area where we go
Yeah.
here a lot. This is a very special area for the gang and I and our Sasquatch. And it's funny too when I think about it. Like there was actually quite a few sightings of Sasquatch right here where we go here in this area. Um, there was one that I know of that a guy was driving up the Mount Forest Service Mountain Road, and he looked to the left and there was a Sasquatch literally right on the side of the road staring at him, and went right up into this forest where we go. Like I'm telling you, like right into this forest.
Yeah.
So I just always think that's so cool. Like people see them all over the place, man. But they can be right here. They're probably with me right now.
Oh
So
yeah, they're definitely with us right now. I
when
can
you and
feel them.
Yeah.
Brian get these energy rushes and you say, "Oh, I could feel the energy," well, that's them. That's them giving you.
Yeah.
That means they're standing closer than 6 inches away from you. They're right there. So that's what's wonderful about pork
Mm,
and beans. Seeing Brian
I,
get lit up
I,
like a
I,
light bulb.
I don't think it's
You go, woo,
always.
woo, I got a rush.
I I have felt them standing beside me where I felt crackling energy and whatever that was intense, but I don't necessarily think that they're standing right beside us when they're connecting with us. It's just like they know your thought and they will send that regardless of where they are. But
Oh, you mean like when you have those phones with which is a tin can and a string, and they're like
yeah,
yelling.
yeah,
That's what it
exactly,
is.
exactly, exactly. That
I
kind of
don't think
stuff.
so. I think that they're closer than that.
Um, nah. I mean, it could be. I think both. I think it could be one or the other, and I
I
don't
think
think either are wrong.
I think it works both ways for sure. You know,
Okay.
this is just a picture of a Sasquatch that it's hard to see. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's literally crouched down behind this tree watching us. And if you could zoom in, I don't know if you can, but
I
you
can
can
see
see
something
it.
here. I can see something here.
It's got a receding hairline, literally.
Yeah. Yeah, right here.
And it's yep, and it's literally just crouched there watching us. This is in the same area where we've had apples disappear off the camera. Like my brothers set up cameras once in a while, right? Like very rarely, like, but they do that once in a while. And they had this, there was a stump right in the camera. Like it was only about 6 inches round and about 6 feet tall, like a little tree stump.
Yeah.
And the apple's sitting right on it. The camera's about 10 feet away. Now, when we set the camera up and put the apple there, we're all eating apples, right? And this is the first time that Sasquatch gave me a hair. I was literally eating my apple with a knife and slicing chunks off of it. And I look down at my apple. It's clean. There's nothing on my apple. I look back down, like literally, I look up and look down, and there's a hair squiggled and like curled up on the flesh of my apple. And I'm like, what the frick is this? Right. So I pull it off, and it's probably about 10 inches long. And the Sasquatch hair always has this wave to it. At least the ones that I find, they're like literally like a wave to them, you know? And in this at that moment, it's just interesting to me because we all ate our apples. I got the Sasquatch hair, which is cool, but our apple cores were left there on the ground, right? Now, 10 days before we got back to the area, there was a picture on the camera of a cougar walking through there. The apple is still on the camera, still there. And the next 10 days later, the next picture was the Squatch Gang approaching the camera. So the apple disappeared without no picture. And I found it very interesting that the cores of the apples were left on the ground there still. And I think that any kind of animal, if it was a bear or something, they would have eaten those apple cores up. You know, the Sasquatch didn't touch the apples that we touched physically and ate ourselves. They only took the ones that were clean, and not that they were dirty, but like not eaten already, right? And I think any kind of animal would have just eaten all that stuff up, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, I just know. This is another picture, and it goes in line with the sequence of pictures, but this is a snapshot from the same area. And up in that little black spot in the middle there, you can see a face, you know, very, if you go to the next picture, it goes into like a zoomed in where you can see the face.
Yeah.
Right.
Something there.
Now, if you literally, the next picture kind of outlines it for people, or you can zoom in or show people. So that was just like, I'm not sure what this is, but I was told by somebody who speaks with Sasquatch that this was a Sasquatch. Now, I don't know if it is or not, but I just thought it was a pretty cool picture that, you know, we took in the same area. It's, you know, we've been up to the same spot before, like just recently, because about a week after, maybe a week and a half later, we went back up to this area and couldn't find this thing, right?
There you go.
So this is my twin brother. He took this shot out there. Me and him were there, and I believe it's a Sasquatch with a infant watching us in the background. If the next picture will show you. It's literally like its head is right there. Its arm comes down. The next picture might outline it for people to see better.
Yeah, I saw it in the last one. Yeah. Interesting.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brian,
so
could you go back to the one before these two? Yeah. You know that there's something funny with that picture. It looks like it's got some kind of energy on it because it's the light's wrong and something's weird about it. I don't know what it is.
it was a very misty day that day.
Okay.
It was misty in the forest that day, for sure.
But that changes the texture of the light everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Looks
I
like
don't see anything. I don't see anything different around where the circle is from any other. I think it's just, yeah, forests up here are pretty misty and spooky at times, aren't they?
Oh man, I love it. This forest is so awesome when you get in there and it's all misty. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is just like some pictures of like our area and some
Yeah.
Sasquatch stuff that we've seen. And this is a little rock stack. We found this one rock here on this stump, and my twin brother decided to stack another rock on top of it. You know, I just, to me, that's Sasquatch, right? Like we're literally in the middle of nowhere, and there's a rock sitting on this stump.
Yeah.
You know,
And
to me,
a rock with no moss. That means
yeah,
it's
yeah.
That's a good
Exactly.
point. That's a really good point. That it's got no moss. That means that, yeah, it
It
wasn't.
came from somewhere else for sure. Like there's a creek or river probably, I don't know, 1,000 yards from this location. So whatever it was must have brought it from up there and put it on the log. So
Very
I mean, there's
cool. Yeah.
all sorts of
I
stuff.
mean, we obviously see a lot of that too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
sometimes it's hard to tell who did what, but the fact that there's no moss on this and location, pretty compelling.
Mhm.
Pretty compelling, yeah. Nice track here. Oh, look at that.
Oh man, they're actually right on the other side of that X there. There was a couple tracks that were quite large actually that day that we found that. Now, okay, now I'm going to get into more stuff here with the Sasquatch now.
Do you want the pictures off or for now?
Yeah, you can take them off for a moment. until we get
Okay.
back into this part.
Yep.
Now over the last, Sasquatch has done amazing things, guys. Like they gifted me a pipe. We'll get into that stuff. But about since I made the connection with the Squatch gang, it was about in a 4 or 5. Like I'm not exact on my times, but probably about 4 or 5 month stretch where I had been gifting with them back and forth. So many times, stones and little stick things that they would leave there for me, and little glyphs and all sorts of stuff. And the where was I going with this now? The Squatch Gang. Now, before I asked for this stuff to come into my life, because I'd had so many experiences, I'm going to tell you guys about getting my pipe. I'm a pipe carrier. The Sasquatch gifted me a pipe from the dream world into the physical world.
Holy
Literally.
cow.
I have it. They gave me a pipe from the dream world to the physical world. Now, my twin brother,
That's mind blowing.
check this out, how it happened, man. Now, my twin brother, he met this guy named Jason. He's a dear friend of ours, man. Amazing guy. Now, Jason, he's a pipe carrier himself, and he had this dream of Sasquatch giving this man a pipe. And he was just like, kind of like, okay, right? All right. And I don't know exact time, but I think it was about a week later. He was helping some woman and she didn't have anything to offer him, but she pulled out this pipe. And it was the same pipe from the dream. So he was like, okay. So he takes the pipe and he's like, he knows he has to find the man, right, from the dream. So fast forward, he meets my twin brother. They become very close, very good friends, talking on the phone for hours, like brothers. And in his mind, like he thought that my brother was the guy from the dream. But then he met me and he said, no, that's the guy. That's the guy from the dream. So the Sasquatch gave him the vision, the dream about the pipe. And this pipe was sent to me all the way from Winnipeg, Canada, in Manitoba. Now, it reached my house in June 2023. And the pipe was given to me to smoke with the Sasquatch, to literally pray with the Sasquatch, right? It's for praying. It's a tool, right? And I didn't use my pipe. I haven't used it. Oh, I did use it. I have smoked with the Sasquatch, but I didn't use it for months later. Now, this story here, the footprints that I was just showing you guys, it was probably about mid-July. Me and my twin brother were out for a walk. And at this time, I had exchanged and done so many things with the Sasquatch. And I was guided to this toy phone. I actually have it right here, sitting right here. I was guided to this thing in the middle of forest, in the middle of nowhere. I'm by myself. Me and my twin brother went out for a walk, 5:30 in the morning, July. We go our separate ways in the forest. We go for an hour or two by ourselves. I'm guided to this phone, and I pick it up, and jokingly around, I ask the Sasquatch, I say, okay, guys, like we've done this exchange so many times, I don't know how many rocks I can collect kind of thing, right? Like joking around. And I'm like talking on the phone, standing there in the woods. And I say, I'm ready for more. I want to see footprints. I want to see another sighting of you guys. I want to see something like marbles gifted to me. And I asked for a good woman in my life as well. And I'm just like totally joking about this stuff realistically, right? Like I'm not you know, thinking that it was actually going to come true, all of this stuff, right? So within 1 month, it all came true. I tracked the Sasquatch for 7 kilometers. I had a visual sighting. I was gifted something like marbles, and my ex-woman came into my life. But the footprints now that I was showing you, if you want to show the people, you can.
Well, so
Okay.
she
Yep.
was the ex before, and then she came back, or she was a new one, and now
She was
she's
new.
She's the ex now, but I'm working on it. We're gonna get her back. Did you try anything that we were talking about or?
We'll keep that off the line.
Okay.
But now the footprints, right? Like I asked them for footprints. We were out there at 5:30 in the morning, okay, at a hiking trail. My brother is about 100 feet ahead of me. I get to the top of this plateau and he's waving me to come over. And the footprint in the previous one was the first one that we found. And the Sasquatch footprints were coming towards us. And then they turned around and started going back up the mountain. And this ground, like this dirt it was in, you could blow on it and that would disappear.
Yeah.
You could literally breathe on it and it would have disappeared. It was fire season, super dry out, right? So whatever, the Sasquatch, they they were right there. These footprints were made right then.
Beautiful footprint.
We tracked them for 7 kilometers up the mountain and back down the mountain. As we were
Yeah.
coming down the one part of the trail, I could hear them walking with us. And I kept saying it to my brother, don't you hear that in the bush right there? And he's like, yeah, thinking it's just nothing, right? It's probably a little animal or something. But meanwhile, we're still on these tracks. Like we followed them for 7 kilometers. And it's wild too, because there's like this little shrine at the end of this trail, and it came right by it. Came right by this shrine. I don't think I sent a picture of the shrine, but in this picture, I don't know if I sent another one, but you can only see like half of the footprint there, and it's to the left.
Oh, hold
You
on.
know,
This one?
this picture here is, yeah, it's hard to see, but like on
I
the
can't see
bottom
much on
left,
this one. Okay.
I'd have to outline it for you in the future to see it, but I can
Right
see it
here?
clear as day. Yeah, that's it. It goes up, go up, go up, go up, go up. That's the big toe right there.
Oh,
And then it
okay.
goes to the right? It's just like that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it continues on there. There's all four toes there, but it's just hard to see.
Yeah.
But so we tracked the Sasquatch up the mountain, down the mountain, and when we came out onto the tracks, my twin brother was ahead of me, about 40 seconds ahead of me, and he crosses the track. He looks both ways. He doesn't see anything. And I'm coming out. I'm on a TikTok live because sometimes I throw them on when I'm out there and walk out of the forest with people. And as I come onto the tracks, I look both ways and I see the Sasquatch running down the train tracks. So this next picture is me on my TikTok live. I don't know if you can zoom in on that.
Um,
I might have sent you
no.
another picture.
Yeah, the
Try
other
the
one though is like a really like you could barely it's like
yeah,
a what do you call it?
small.
Yeah. Oh,
It
hold
was
on.
zoomed in.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even download it because it's like one of those thumbnail sizes. It would have been
Mm-hmm.
useless. But I saw what you're talking about. I saw a figure in it. I
Yep.
know what you're saying. There was a figure there. I can verify
It's
that. So why don't you tell us about it at least?
Well, there's really not too much to say about it because I mean, I was walking out and I just seen the Sasquatch and I go, wow, like obviously right then in my mind I'm going, I just asked for this 2 weeks ago, not even. I asked them for footprints, another sighting, and boom, like 2 weeks later.
That's incredible, man.
I think
By
they
the
might
way, but oh, excuse me just for 1 second, Bean. By the way, I was listening to everything you said about the being a pipe carrier and being gifted the pipe and that story. That is incredible. And I want to ask you, you are going to come to my camp out in September, the RE camp out, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
gonna be a spiritual gathering. Will you bring that pipe? Can I smoke with you there?
Like I can't any people can't smoke out of it.
You
It's
only
only
you?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I can bring it out though.
Okay. I didn't know the tradition. So the pipe is just for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little? Okay, actually, let Beans ask his question, but I would like to know. Maybe you can tell us why that is. Is it's just one person, one pipe?
Yeah, it's pretty much that's it, right? It's a sacred thing, right? It's not to be shared. It's for me to bless with, right? And I can only do good with it. You can't
Of course.
if you ask for bad or anything, it only comes back on you real. Like you have to do good. You can't lie. You cannot lie, man. You have to do good, you know.
Okay. Well, I
But
hope I
it's
didn't
it's
dishonor
meant
you
for
by
both.
asking because I
No,
wasn't aware of that. I
no,
thought it was
don't.
something that you could pass around like in a ceremony or something.
No,
Okay.
not this.
Okay, I
Not this
understand. I understand. Or
You can do that with another pipe. You get it.
one.
yeah, we can do that with another pipe. I'll come out of retirement, smoke some other something else in the pipe with you. So where were you going with your question there, Beans?
I just was making a comment. I forgot what it was now. No big deal.
But
So
anyway,
the,
This got a really compelling story, a real personal. Well, the thing for me about Sasquatch, when hear people interacting with them, is how personal they get. They're so personal, and
Mhm.
the timing may be off, but the heart's there. They come across time and space to give you something, a rock or something. I mean, they just are like I was showing you guys last time this little.
Yeah.
That's all it was, but it was that they came across time and space and placed that there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Mhm. Mhm.
it's
I
so
I
personal. Everything's so personal.
I like Jerrod's story because it's very similar to mine. Different things, different experiences in some ways, but I could see it's going down the same path.
Mhm.
It's a really intense student teacher relationship, which to me is the ultimate kind of thing that you want with them because if they've taken you under their wing and they're going to start teaching you, man, you're in for a big wild ride, and it's also going to be you're going to be changed, obviously. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Spiritually transformed, man. That's what they are all about. That is their role here is this
yeah,
spiritual
yeah.
transformation.
But
I love it.
sorry about the pipe thing, but you are going to come to my camp out, right? It's actually
Yes.
the RE camp out. Yeah,
Yes, I'll be there for sure.
okay,
I will be
okay.
around. So
Continue with your story, my friend.
yeah. Um Now I did share some pictures there, but they kind of go with they're not really with the story. They're just kind of cool pictures that I was um guided to take where I caught Sasquatch and elementals and stuff. But
Do we have them? I can bring them up whenever you want.
they're the next pictures. We will get back into the story, but we'll just go with the pictures as this will only take a moment to talk about too.
Do you want the pictures now or you want to talk about it
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. Well, you can show the pictures and I'll talk.
Okay.
The This was an area again up in, I believe it was either Chehalis. I think it was Chehalis, Service Mountain Road. And so the next picture. Now in this picture, this there's the elemental right there, directly underneath the Sasquatch. Now, some people say this is a Sasquatch, but I always thought it was an elemental. Do you see the face that I'm talking about?
Right here?
Yes.
I see, yeah. I see
So
something
he's
that looks like
looking,
a face.
he's got a wide set nose, his eyes are looking down, you can see his mouth and he almost has facial hair like a goatee or something. Now it's like I come to these areas, right? I go way down there. I'm by myself at the moment. My brother was up at the truck And I just go down there and I know something tells me in my head, I don't know, Sasquatch or what, but to point the camera over here and take a picture, right? Now, in this picture, there's multiple faces and entities here. Now, if you go to the next picture, you'll see a Sasquatch that is phasing out. Can you see his eyes there? His two big round eyes. He's literally fading out.
Well, I see some kind of disturbance in here that doesn't look, it looks
That's not
like,
it. It's the black part. See down there, there's two big eyes here. Oh, that's his eyes right there, two big round eyes. And he's literally
oh,
peeking at
right here?
Yep. And his head's
Okay.
black. He's black, right?
Yeah,
He's
okay.
there was actually a set of 3 pictures that I took. And in the pictures, you can see where he goes from this state to not being there at all. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't,
I think this other thing could just be from the energy or whatever, because I've taken a lot
yeah.
of pictures that are like completely distorted just because they're around, so
Mhm.
yeah, that's cool. Go ahead.
So, you know, it's just strange to me, right? Like, it's not strange, but many times I take pictures like this and I have amazing, amazing pictures of Sasquatch. Like, they're just giving them to me like that, I guess. They tell me to take the picture there and boom. And I look at the picture and I just go, holy, there they are.
You know
I
what?
knew they were, I could feel them there. I could feel them there.
That's kind of how it works. You just take the picture and there they are. But
Like I
but
could
you're
feel
actually
them
you're
there.
actually you're actually told to take the picture. That's pretty cool. I like that.
So the next picture, there's a few here that I'm showing. Um, yeah, it's hard to see this one, but there's
Yeah.
actually 2 faces there. You can see there's one on the left side that almost has like a kind of like a I don't want to say gorilla type nose or monkey type nose, but kind of like that. You can see
Oh,
his
here?
eyeball. That is a completely different one, which is very strange. If you go to the next picture, it might have them outlined. See,
Yeah,
there's
it's
nostril, eye, and the other one, I'm not sure if I outlined that one or not. Can you see if I did?
the next picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell on these. Yeah, I guess, yeah, you did. Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
It's well, I got a 32-inch monitor and it's extremely blurry. It would probably be better if it were a little smaller for me.
Yeah. It's just crazy, right? Like in
Yeah,
this one pic.
I'm sorry. Like we discussed, like when I was on your show, I was amazed when I was showing you my pictures and
Mhm.
your co-host couldn't see it. Like I said, he's right there, man. Can't you?
Yeah.
There's something to it that when it's for you, you're more apt to see it than other people because I have a hard time seeing stuff in other people's pictures a lot.
Mhm.
And so there's something to that, right?
Yes, for sure there is 100%. So yeah, I don't know, like I know that there's Sasquatch in this picture, but there's other things in this picture as well, you know. So these are
Oh,
my
there's your marbles, yeah.
yes, the marbles. I asked for these things, right? Like my exact words were something like marbles. Now, one week after I seen the Sasquatch and tracked the Sasquatch for 7 kilometers, I was cleaning my house one day and I'm messing around, just cleaning up, and my house is tidied up, all clean. And I turn around, and directly in the middle of my living room floor, these 2 giant steel ball bearings, something like marbles, were sitting in the middle of my living room floor. And I go, again? You guys are doing it again? For real? So cool. So right away I go, again, I asked for this and boom. Now this is an AI glyph, which goes inside with meeting my ex there, my ex-woman. Now, the way I asked, right? I asked for Sasquatch for all this stuff, right? And within 1 month, she came into my live on TikTok. She came under the name AI Beta or something like that. AI was a big part of her user handle. And I'm out there. This is after I had met her. So she's now at my house. This night I was out with the Squatch gang and we're walking around Chehalis. This night we actually recorded two separate sequences of like Sasquatch howling at us in the mountains, just up behind where we were having this little fire and what we were doing, right? So me and James were walking down this dried riverbed and I come across this AI glyph. And right away, like I instantly know like this is a sign that they see what's happening here and they approve of it, right? Like or like
Absolutely.
they're showing me they know her, they know about her, they know what's going on. And they're
Yeah.
giving me confirmation that she was a part of my journey, whether she'll be back a part of my journey or not, but she is a part of it. And this is a part of my story. So I'm like,
Hey,
right
man.
away, I'm
Hey,
blown away.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so excited because you're one of the sorry people in the audience, but I'm so excited when you're talking about this because this is exactly like what they do with me, and I don't hear hardly anybody else picking it up and getting this kind of interaction with the glyphs or whatever. Like it's I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's amazing. And the other thing that excites me is that they're using symbols that I know, like personally, but they don't mean
Mhm.
that for you. And that's perfect because they don't, you know, they're for
Exactly
you.
what we're
Is what
talking
I've
about.
always been saying. What I
Yeah, yeah.
always say. So, so go ahead, man. I'm sorry, but I'm just like over the moon hearing this because yeah,
It's just more confirmation for all of us, you know,
well, you're kind
in
of
a
getting
way.
the same kind of stuff as I'm getting. Could even be the same gang, actually, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
They they go quite long distances, as we know. Go ahead, my friend.
So this night I instantly knew, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's amazing, right? I was so happy about it. Going, they prove, they know, I feel it. I knew it. And now I don't know if I did the next picture or not. I'm not sure if I did, but let's see what the next one is.
It's like some river
Oh,
rocks or
this
something.
this one is hard to see. There's actually a footprint there, but you can't see it.
No, I can't say
Um,
it. I think it's here, but
it is up there. It's up there. It's hard
yeah.
to see though. Um,
Okay. Here's the
this
Squatch
is just a
Boys gang.
this is just a random picture. Yeah, there's the Squatch gang right there. This picture was taken at 11:30 at night, guys, in the pitch black in my with my phone. I just thought it was so cool. That's the moon shining behind us.
But by the way, next time you have put on one of them, like I've watched a few of your videos, obviously. Next time you put on one of them big, huge breakfasts, man, like make me about half of that much and invite me up.
For sure, man. For sure. It's gonna be awesome.
Because
So
you guys know you guys eat some what did you have there? Like potatoes, steak,
we had tomahawk steaks and potatoes, eggs, all the works, right? A nice hearty breakfast. And we always give Sasquatch a plate too. We always make Sasquatch a plate.
yeah,
So now
absolutely.
in the story now, like when I found that AI glyph the very next morning, and I'm talking about I was there when I found it, it was probably 10:30 at night. The next morning at 8:30 in the morning, me and Mimi decide to go for a drive out to Chehalis and I'm gonna go for a walk and show her. I want to show her the AI glyph. I want to show her like how cool is that? So we go out there at 8:30 in the morning. We get out there, we walk out there to the spot, and where the AI glyph was, there was now two X's beside each other. The AI
Yeah,
glyph sticks were completely gone, they were nowhere to be seen, and there was two X's there.
You and
And to
her,
me,
right?
yeah, that's what I that's what came to me right away, that they accepted us, they approved of us, you know, and whether that was just for the experiences that we had, that we both needed for our growth, for our spiritual growth. I don't know what the future has in store, but like I do know
Yeah.
that we did come into each other's lives for personal growth and spiritual growth, man. And
You
this
know,
is a part of it, right?
one time Randy Brisson and I were drumming for the Sasquatch up in the mountains. And when we came back down, oh, and actually, at one time we had a video too. We jerk our head around at one time because the Sasquatch is drumming with us, right? And
Mhm.
this is related to your story. That's why I'm saying it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and so on our way back down, they gifted us like a feather that they stuck in the ground with a rock. And
Hmm.
right beside that were two peel stick X's side by side. So that kind of, speaks to what you were talking about with you and your girlfriend, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's acceptance, like I mean, we're family to them. Randy Brisson and me are family to the guys here. And that's that's their way of saying you're in the gang. And I love that, man, when you shared that. And I love the fact that it's very similar experiences and we can kind of like take comfort in the fact that there's a lot of us going down this road, and you are getting the
Yeah.
same you're getting the same teachings that I'm getting. That's why I'm thinking, man, you got to have it's got to be the same gang or the same school of teaching or something, like it's too similar.
Hmm. It wouldn't surprise me, right? Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all. We're very close, and I mean, Sasquatch. They don't that the same way this world exists to us doesn't it? It's different, right? Like we talk about this, time and space doesn't exist for them. You know, they can be anywhere at any time. My Sasquatch could be in China right now. I don't know. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, realistically, that's what I believe in. They can
What
do
do you
whatever.
Yeah. Why do you talk about some of the things that they, because that's been part of my education. So I'm assuming that they're just from what you said, they're taking you down that road too. What have they taught you about their abilities, and what have their abilities taught you about other things? Like, like I went through lessons with time, for instance, and they were showing with glyphs and examples, and then I learned, eventually learned that time is not linear and stuff like this. So they're teaching us through experiences. There's lessons. So where are they taking you, and where have they gotten you to right now?
Well, I've been told, and kind of like I have this knowing, right, where
Yeah.
they want me to go down this healer's path and this, shaman type path, right? And that's part of my journey with them. And the teachings don't really come to, I don't understand them. Maybe I can't translate them, Michael, you know, but like they come to me in just these really, really profound knowing moments, where I know Sasquatches give me something, and maybe I can't translate it yet or like understand the teachings, but I know they're showing me the love, and you know they give me the feelings. So like
You know
I,
what?
I I'm still on my journey here, and very I'm like a baby here. You know what I mean? I'm like a baby, and I'm just learning my stuff, and I'm trying to still understand the teachings, but I do know that they're 100% about love, and they love me, man. They love what I'm doing. They see what I'm doing. They approve of what I do, man. You know, I just get these really, really strong knowing feelings, like, and
That
and and
that's
and I need to. They're teaching me that I need to trust myself more and be there for myself and love myself more. Like, these are the things they show me, and as I continue this path, the teachings will probably get more stronger, or I'll be able to understand them more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's yeah, but I wanted to make a point on the knowings. That's a really like a direct line. You don't have to go through the deciphering or whatever. Like I get a lot of I just know knowings.
mhm.
Some of them have come from downloads and from other ways, but it's it's, you don't have to like, well, is this real? Or, you don't have to go through all the analyzing of it, or like a direct knowing, and it's kind of like convenient and it's powerful. And so I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's powerful stuff, man. So you maybe think that you're young and whatever in your journey, whatever, in years and whatever you are, but having that knowing already and everything, you're well, they're going to take you where you need to be when the time is right.
Exactly. They
Yeah.
definitely will, man. And it's strange, not strange, because I always say it, but I mean, I don't mean strange. I just like more so, I mean, it's cool. But I've had these things happen too, like over the last couple weeks here since I've been back by myself here, more time with the creator and creation and Sasquatch. They've been showing me more things, you know. Um, like I had confirmation about Sasquatch and that they walk with me, that they're with me. I was literally out there making a video, walking up this hiking trail. I walked up the top of it, and it was super steep and I'm super out of breath. But on the way back down, I'm making my video and I'm speaking from the heart. And I'm telling them, like I said, I was telling them and the people who watch my videos that I'm not out here trying to start a Sasquatch cult or push my agenda on anybody or my beliefs or anything about this. I'm out here sharing my experiences, living, learning, and sharing what I know. And I just started pounding my chest and I'm like, what I know. And I just pounded it, right? I kept saying it, what I know, what I know. And later that day, I was speaking with a man who speaks with Sasquatch telepathically, and he was telling me about basically what I was going through at the time with my breakup and stuff, and um, giving me stuff that I needed to hear. But the last thing he said to me was, "Sasquatch pounds his chest at you." And at the moment, I didn't put it together for about an hour. But then I was thinking about it because I was like, "Why is Sasquatch pounding his chest at me?" Right? Like, what does that mean? And then I thought back to the video that I made earlier that morning, and I was pounding my chest out there,
Mhm.
and it was just like more confirmation or whatever you want to call it that was just, so strong. The feeling that come over me, I was just like, they're with me, man, everywhere I go, you know,
Yeah.
and like
You know
so
what?
many, so many.
They taught me a really well. It's a lesson that, it's kind of like obvious, and yet you kind of maybe it's so obvious that you kind of overlook it or whatever. But in
Yeah.
the last few, but one thing I wanted to say when you were talking, do you find yourself having like really deep conversations with the Sasquatch out there? And even though it's not a voice in your head, you know that they're putting thoughts in your head, and there is interaction, and it's really intense, and there's big answers and stuff going on. That's how I feel. I mean, that that's
You
happened just
know,
like a couple of days ago.
I mean, not all the time by any means.
But some,
Sometimes
no, no, not me either. No, just once in a while.
yeah, for sure. I've before another thing that happened in that forest where I go, um, probably about 2 or 3 months before I had seen the Sasquatch in on the train tracks. I was in this forest. I took my shoes off. I put my feet, the palms or the bottom of my feet against the tree. I put my hands on the tree and I sat there for about 5 minutes, just in like a meditation state. And I just asked the tree, "How are you today?" You know, and it said, "Good." It said, "I'm doing good." And
Awesome.
I asked the tree, "Do you have anything you would like to say to me?" And they told me that I would see a Sasquatch very soon. So is that another thing that was just led into another sighting? I like when I did see the Sasquatch, I don't know. But I mean, it happened though. Like, yeah, go hug a tree and talk to it. You'll be surprised what happens.
So let me tell you that little lesson. This is, and I think that you probably get the same kind of stuff, or you will be getting it for sure. So the wife and I are thinking, it's really the message that is important. I'm thinking maybe some of these glyphs or some of these messages aren't directly from Sasquatch, right? You know, maybe they're not. Although, with me and you probably the vast majority are, but you have to be open to it. And sometimes it's just the universe giving you an answer. And it doesn't really matter who the deliverer is, it's the answer, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah.
So I'm there camping on Wednesday, and my wife has gone back to get something at the house. I'm there with my friend Laurel, our friend Laurel, and I'm looking for some firewood, and I see this little axe by one of the fire pits. And I look at it closer, and I notice there's a little Y. Is one of the sticks has got a little Y stick on there, and I said, cool, thanks for the message, kind of thing. And then I went back and talked to Laura. I said, hey, come on and look at this. This is cool. Look what the Sasquatch left. And she goes back there and she said, yeah, but I think those little prongs were used to toast weenies in the in the fire, the little Y, the tiny little Y. And it hit me. I just thought, doesn't matter. Because I got the message.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter who left it, right? That was the lesson they gave me. And I'm getting hit up with energy right now. That I swear that was the setup for them to show me that, hey, man, we may not leave everything, but it's the message that is the important thing, not the deliverer, right? So,
It makes
and that's
sense,
how
man.
the universe works too, right? When you're connected in, you start opening up to it. So, anyway, I wanted to share that with you because I knew you would appreciate it, and you probably had similar experiences, or you're going to have for sure.
So many times, like for instance, another time where me and my ex or Mimi were out for a walk, and we come to this area, and the trail gets overgrown a bit, right? Where it's kind of turns into like a tunnel, and it comes to a spot. Now we walk through this little area, and there's nothing on the ground, right? There's nothing there. But as we come back through, like 10 minutes later, there's a huge Y glyph just like sitting there across the trail, just sitting there for us. It was probably like 3 feet long. And this isn't in an area where, it was, of course, I looked around. I'm like, because I'm amazed and, thank you, right? And I look around, and there's nowhere where this branch came from. It didn't break off by anything there, or, it was literally placed there right across the trail for us. And it was within like a 10 minutes time.
And
10
you
minutes.
and you associate that Wycliffe, if I'm correct, with something to do with you and your ex, right?
Um,
You were
Not
saying the AI
necessarily
or something. Oh, when it's oh, okay, the AI.
the AI,
Okay, I'm
yeah.
sorry, because I recognize that the A was made with an upside down Y with a stick across it, so that's why. Okay,
This was just like a Y stick that I've always seen them around, and it's something where uh, the Y usually shows up to me when I'm dropping, like, I don't know, I don't want to say Sasquatch knowledge or stuff, but like it's what I'm doing. I'll be talking about it, and boom, it's right there. Like there'll be moments where I'm walking around doing my thing and speaking some real truth about Sasquatch, and boom, there's an X literally standing. I'm standing on top of it,
I
or
hear you.
like that's I don't know. I don't really have a meaning for it myself yet, and it was weird too because of course, I watch your channel too, right, and your YouTube channel, and I hear what you have to say about the glyphs and stuff and your meanings for them. But it's like the meaning doesn't, it comes from us, right? Like the meaning of it comes from us.
Of course.
So like I don't associate anything with the why other than me seeing it at moments where I know, like, I'm speaking about Sasquatch and saying something really, from the heart about them, or speaking my truth, and then it's there. And I go, that's a sign, right? That they're showing me that they're constantly with me, right? They're always walking with me. And that's the thing. Like she even told me that. Like she came into my TikTok there through that woman that was told to that she has to tell me this. Like she has to get this message to me right now. And as soon as I read them, they grabbed me, right? And it's just like, so it's so wild, man. I can't even remember where I'm going with it now, but so many little things like that. And it's strange. A couple of other strange things that have happened to me. I can tell you about one of these hair incidences, and I got another little story, a recent one that showed me more on my journey with my pipe. I can get into that in a minute. But I'm going to talk about this, just tell a quick story about the Sasquatch hair that was gifted to me in my bedroom. You know, I've been gifted 3 Sasquatch hairs, 2 of them in my bedroom, but one I can only talk about. So the one night I was going to bed and I'm putting on Seinfeld as I usually do to pass out or whatever. I put it on and roll over or whatever. So I turn on the episode and my TV and everything resets. My room goes dark. It turns back on and I go, that's strange. Okay, whatever, right? So I do it. I turn it back on. I go back to Seinfeld and boom, it does it again. I'm like, all right. So it does it 5 times in a row. And on the last time that my TV resets, so my room goes dark for like 1 or 2 seconds, not even. And I get this tickle in my goatee. Like it feels like this. Like somebody went like this. And I can feel this hair and it's like sticking out of my goatee. And I grab it. And when I pull on the hair, it literally unweaves itself from my goatee. And I instantly know, like, I go, thanks, guys. I know it's them because at the time I hadn't had a woman in my bed for freaking years. And I just know it was them, right? But like, this is the way that Sasquatch can work with people, man. They can literally be in your house and do little things like that just to show their presence and let you know, man, that they are around. So just a another little cool experience, man. There's so many of them, it's hard to remember them all, you know?
Ask JT about the music. No, I forgot. Somebody Taylor, I think one of your family
That's my
members.
my twin brother. Now, on it was about, I think it was the same week that we tracked the Sasquatch. We went back up into the hills behind this hiking trail. There's a mountain service road behind it. We went up the mountain about I don't know, probably about 10 kilometers. And there's this little trail off the side of the road that goes down a steep hiking trail. Like you have to climb down this thing, and it's, if it was wet out, it's dangerous to go down. It's that bad. But when we go down into this forest, we're walking around and he's probably about 60 feet away from me, and I'm doing my thing, with my camera, just making my videos, and I'm walking by this tree stump, and it was probably about 20 feet tall, maybe 3 or 4 feet round, this big, giant, old, rotten tree stump. Now, my brother goes, "Do you hear that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "You hear it too?" And he's like, "Yep." There was music given to us from the Sasquatch people that was coming out of this giant dead tree. Like, the sound, as strange as it is, I mean, the Sasquatch song from the Chehalis First Nations, the Chehalis First Nations people, the Sasquatch Nation, that's where the word originates from.
Yep.
The music coming out of the tree was the melody of their song that they've been playing for thousands of years.
Wow.
And it was literally coming out of the tree and we could both hear it. And I'm like, what is that, right? Like, we don't know. Maybe it was something, but then we heard a quad come by and it was so loud. Like, so we just know it. Like, this was coming out of the tree. I could hear it, like, but my brother's like, yeah, what was that, right? But what I'm trying to say is we heard uh, a quad drive by about 10 minutes later, and it was so freaking loud and unbelievably loud and like, noisy that, there's nothing else. That music was coming from nothing else but that tree, you know? So just a cool moment, man. Sasquatch gifted us music, and I do have it on video too. So
So what nation are you affiliated with, or are you affiliated with a nation?
my people are the Kisnik First Nations. They're from Invermere, British Columbia. So my
Tell us,
grandmother.
oh, go ahead, and then I want to ask you something about them. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I don't know too much about them, right? Because I'm relearning all this stuff. Like I'm new to learning my own stuff, right? But it's my grandmother's mother married a Frenchman, and they were up from Invermere, BC, and you know that's where the Kisnik people are from. But they're from Idaho and Montana and Alberta. Like there's a big group, right?
Is there
Um,
is there a big Sasquatch tradition in the culture?
well, it's strange enough that my my great uncle was the chief up into the 60s. He was the chief there, and his grandfather, which is my grandmother's my grandmother's grandfather, or might have been her father. Don't I can't remember exactly. Sorry, but um, they as kids, there's a story of seeing. So they seen these bones, right? My great grandfather's seen these bones, and Martin, the chief, my uncle, my great uncle, he come home and seen his father, and he asked him about, the Sasquatch, or the boys were talking about this stuff, about these things, right? Sasquatch people, but they called them wild men and stuff. So he comes home and he asked them about them, and the stories were that the Sasquatch would come to the graves of the fallen people, and whether what they were doing, but the stories were that they were taking the bodies. Now, it scared Martin, so he came home and asked his grandfather about this stuff. And his grandfather, my great or great great grandfather, told him that when he was a boy, he went up onto the plateau there in Invermere, and he's seen two 11-foot tall skeletons that were just laying up there, and they were wearing sinew clothing with bone jewelry. And I mean, I just go, it's kind of
Wow.
interesting that even in my previous family, like my generations behind me, were having these kind of things happen and like seeing this kind of stuff. So I mean, they I do believe Sasquatch follow us, even our family members are generational, or you know, there's something to it for sure.
Have you heard you're out in Mission. I guess this would be more Chehalis, but Morris Mountain. Have you heard of a tradition that the Sasquatch used to meet from all over on Morris Mountain? Like I don't know if it was yearly or whatever for
Every 7 years they would meet there. You could see the fires up on the mountain, and the Sasquatch would meet there every 7 years. Um, I
now when
can't
you
remember
hold on, you said
exactly.
fires. So I mean I believe they're capable of anything, but they had fires up there, the Sasquatch?
Yep, that's the stories. That's the stories of. It's actually called Sasquatch Mountain, Morris Hill. There, it's where the Chehalis people would see the Sasquatch have fires up on the hills, and they
So
would
tell
gather
us
there every 7 years.
for just for whatever business, whatever, or for celebration or for business. I guess they don't know maybe.
I'm not sure. I can't quote the story exactly, but I believe it was for some kind of, if I'm correct, I think it had something to do with like a gathering of trading and or whatever, right? Like something like that. I can't quote the story though, or remember it exactly, but that's the gist of it. So it's just a local story that I've heard many times, but you know, there's all sorts of stories with the Sasquatch out there, Chehalis.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Good energy out there too.
oh, it's the best, man. That's where I feel at home, you
Well,
know?
okay, my place is the best for me, but Chehalis, when I go out there, it's pretty good. Pretty darn good,
Mhm,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So here's another weird little thing that happened recently where like after I've been on my own here now. And right away, like I said, the creator and things started speaking to me right away. Right away, man. The energies, the Sasquatch messages were coming through. And I'm standing here at my sliding door, and a blue winged raven lands like 3 feet in front of me, right on my fence, and it's sitting there with me. And these wings on this raven were so blue, man, almost like this kind of blue right here, like so blue. And I just think, well, that's cool, right? It's pretty neat. The same night, I'm standing in the front of my house, and about 30 feet away from me, say 30 feet off the ground, there's a blue orb just pulsating, probably about the size of my fist. And I'm just sitting there watching it, like, cool, right? I see the blue winged raven, I see the blue orb, and I don't really put it together yet. So maybe a week later, I'm speaking with a friend, and she ends up telling me a dream. I'm not going to repeat it because it's like her dream, but she ended up telling me a dream where it had to do with the color blue and it had to do with my pipe. Not necessarily my pipe, but pipes and the color blue. And the fact that I seen the blue orb and the winged raven, and then I get the information from the dream world that way. I go, blue has to be my color for my pipe, for everything. Like I think blue is like I need to be wearing more blue. I need to be operating in blue, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So,
I
and it's
like when you were talking about your pipe, how you said it came from the dream world. That's like, wow. I heard Mr. Beans go, wow, I think when you said that.
it's the real deal, man. Like Sasquatch gave me a pipe from the dream world. It's such a trip, eh?
I
It's
know.
like, who am I?
That's a real
Who am I?
that's a trippy one for sure. I mean,
Like who
that's
am
one of
I?
the biggest honors I've ever heard.
It's just like so many things, right? So many things. When I think about the stuff that's happened to me throughout my life, and that most of it has been Sasquatch the entire time. Like I do believe that Sasquatch get blamed for things, like not blamed, but like people will consider them to be paranormal. I mean, they are paranormal, but like people consider it to be maybe ghost or like spirit or something. When Sasquatch is spirit, we know this. But like many things that happened to me over my life where I would be going, ooh, like what is that, right? What is that? Not knowing. But I believe that Sasquatch have always been there, little things like blowing in my face out of nowhere, like, you know, and I'll be like thinking at the times back when these things would happen, or even crawling on my bed, like I could feel them on my bed moving around, and I go, this has literally been Sasquatch the whole time. They've been trying to get my attention in any little way they could. And so many times, man, it just, you know, it's like I know now that they've been they were trying to get my attention. They haven't fully now. Maybe not fully, but I'm trying here.
It's funny
Uh,
though, just about everybody who has this kind of connection with them feels like they've had a connection with them long before they became consciously aware of it again. And, you're just
mhm,
another one that verifies that. I find that very compelling.
mhm,
The thing that I'm getting is this is not one lifetime. This is not the first rodeo, you know. Uh, when you have family groups that have been in an area for, 100 years or 500 years, and the interaction between Sasquatch and the indigenous peoples around 30,000 years. It's not 3,000 years. So, and then there's the thing where the Sasquatch can remember and review and see your history of other
the
lifetimes.
timeline. Mhm,
So, you've been friends, you might have been friends, you might have been related for who knows how many lifetimes. But
mhm.
what a fruit, what a fruit from the tree has blossomed, to recover that, to recover the roots to
Guys,
to Mother Earth and the roots to a Sasquatch nation that you're connected to. It's as
it's like,
deep as connecting to your own people.
mhm. It's like I never thought I was going to get out of that lifestyle when I was in the addictions. I never thought I was ever going to get out of that stuff, man. I thought I was going to be there forever or end up dying. And it's like, just like, it was like one day a light switch went off in my head. And I was like, if I don't stop this right now, I will not be the same person ever again. And it was just like, boom, you know, I turned the wand off of it. And it was just like, of course, Sasquatch was helping me with this, right? They were a big part of this journey, you know, it's just, it's,
Well,
it's,
for
it's, an,
for
it's an
sure,
honor
there's
to have
things
them a
out
part of
there
my
that
life, man. It's an
there's
honor to
things
have
that
them a part of
there's things that the Sasquatch can do that are more valuable than any drug or any religion. You know what I mean? When they reach in and they touch you and they, give you a zap or they give you an awareness, that's worth being clear and being receptive and not being disassociated and, you know, drugged up. It's definitely
Mhm,
worth it. Well, you take drugs because you want to end your pain or you want to a blot, you want to get away from the stuff that you don't want to see, you don't want to feel. But when the
mhm.
Sasquatch give you something to see and to feel that are far superior,
Yes.
a new world view. That's what a gift that is. And that, like I said last night when I was talking on your show, uh, you know, there's a team inside out thing going on in the world because the people who have experiences, ongoing experience, lifetime experience with the star nations, they feel the same way. They feel family and they feel loved and accepted
Yep.
and transformed. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Same thing with the near-death experience people. They still feel connected to the Godhead and they're getting all this energy and they transform and they get more green and money is not such a big thing anymore. Spirituality is a lot much more important to them.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's funny the way I think about is like my life before. You know, I made lots of money, and money was I wasn't greedy, but I was out there making money and doing my thing. And it's like now in my life, money is like the least important thing to me ever. Like I don't give a crap about it, man. Like you know, I can live off of nothing, man. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't bother me to be, the way that when I think about how I was in the past to where I am now, it's 100%, you know, the growth is happening, the spiritual transformation. The way I used to think no longer exists. I mean, I still struggle with myself sometimes, but like the way I was, man, I have Sasquatch to thank for that, man, and myself, of course. But It's amazing, man. It's amazing the stuff they do.
Yeah, they're big time healers that can heal us inside and out, eh?
Mhm.
Well, we have to kind of be, we have to participate, obviously, but it's not just twitch your nose and it's done. But you know what I mean? Well, in some cases it is. For physical stuff, I mean, some cases it literally is, but I think for the emotional stuff and whatever, and the soul stuff or whatever, we got to be full-time participants in that, obviously.
Mhm.
I think we're blessed to have the internet now because, like we're doing this talk right now, and you're going to do hundreds of talks over time, and the connections that are being made all around the world is just fabulous. You think even going back like a couple of lifetimes ago, back to the um, late 19th century, 20th century, um, it wasn't like that. If you had experiences with Sasquatch, who do you tell? And
Yeah.
how do you know that anybody else is having the same experiences as you are? You wouldn't know, you know?
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a blessing and a curse, this technology that we're using. I think that, it helps us connect all around the world, but it just like in ways people get addicted to it and it lessens their connection. So it raises your connection with people, but it lessens your connection with creation. So it's like you got to find that even ground so you're
Yeah,
not, you know, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. But
Yeah.
one of the benefits is like I got a benefit from, well, I always get a benefit from any guest, but like it just kind of, even though I have 100% confidence in my experiences and and they're personal and for me, and I know what I'm dealing with. Um, the fact that you are getting almost the identical kind of things and I can see it, like it just tells me that because the proximity, our proximity is so close, it just makes it even more real because I'm thinking the same guys are bringing you along, my friend, and
Mhm.
it just like, you know,
I accept it.
no coincidences, right?
No,
Just
no.
just too much similar stuff.
Yeah, I accept anything that Sasquatch has for me. I accept it with open arms, man. Anything, you know, any kind of experience. Um, and some people do have, and we were talking about this before, the mirroring thing, and like people have these bad experiences. Well, is that because of the mirroring that would be happening? Is that what we were talking about? Is that how we were explained?
The mirroring thing I was talking about is like kind of different. Like uh, some people, I think, go get away from the core and the heart matters of it and go off on. And I'm not judging them for this, but this is just what I think about mirroring. Um, these different, like things that are not, they're personal or whatever, and that they support kind of thing that may not necessarily be the absolute truth, but the Sasquatch aren't going to tell them that. They're going to support them in that. So they're going to mirror their likes and their dislikes. In other words, if somebody's likes to use all things aggressively, they're going to say that their Sasquatch told them that, go in there and kick ass and blah, blah, blah. Or if somebody likes to jiggy jabby, they're going to say their Sasquatch told them it was good, kind of thing. Because the Sasquatch mirror them, or
Like,
because there is still our soul lessons and our soul journey, so they can't interfere. They can give us nudges, they can give us
yes,
downloads. We have to take it where it is, but they can't just, like, you know,
they can't just give us
we
the
have to have the
answer.
free choice. We have to have the free choice. So that's what I'm talking about. They will mirror us. They won't tell us, no, this is wrong and you're screwing up, because we have to screw up so that the lesson that's going to be learned from screwing up can be garnered, right? So
Yes.
you know what I mean? So that's what I call mirroring, or somebody who says they were Michelangelo or something, or I don't, maybe they were because we are all connected. Maybe that's just tuning into that frequency of Michelangelo. But you can go a million different ways with this. But that's basically what I was talking about with mirroring. You
So yeah,
understand that,
I
right?
get that. Yes, yes, I do. Yeah, no, it's strange though, right? Like I'd call these times. Sometimes people have to get the shit scared out of them to be woken up. To have this say transformation starting or something happening inside you. And some people will have these experiences where they, you know, I call them soul activation moments, where you could literally have the crap scared out of you, but it's literally activating your fucking soul, you know? Now, I've never personally experienced this, and I just go by this by hearing other people's experiences and talking to them and changing the way they think about Sasquatch, you know, because people have told me these stories of, say having a bad encounter. Like I've never had a bad encounter with a Sasquatch ever in my life,
No.
ever. But like many people have, and I try to explain, I go, well, you needed that moment in your life on your journey. And now look at you, you're talking to me and you're learning about Sasquatch. And you're learning about what Sasquatch are really about. So those are the soul activation moments I sometimes talk about. I do believe they happen, right?
I do like that. And we talked about it too before, that the same exact moment that is experienced by two people, one person could say, my friends are here. The other person could say, my God, I just escaped with my life. That
Yeah.
beast was going to kill me. And all it was doing was standing there looking at them.
Right. And that's
So,
the most part what Sasquatch really do. Like they, for the most part, they're not out there doing stuff like, scaring people and stuff. They're
yeah.
just being themselves, man, being their natural selves.
Hey, man, they appeared in my room for Pete's sakes. If they want, that's just to illustrate the point that if they wanted to kill you, if that was their intention, uh, it's not going to be that difficult for them. They just lop your head off
Right.
and you won't even see them coming.
Pretty much, Oh,
So that they wanted to kill me thing really doesn't hold water with me,
yeah.
because their abilities would enable them to kill us pretty easily if they wanted to.
Yeah. They could for sure, but they don't, right? And that's the thing, right? We know.
Yeah. Is there anything else on your mind that you wanted to share with us? Any other stories or thoughts or messages or
I don't really have anything else to share about my experiences or journey, but I do encourage anybody out there, if you do have encounters with Sasquatch, to speak your truth. Get it out there, man. Part of your journey is to share your experience. This is a part of the revealing to the world of Sasquatch, to helping them come out more, like that's what I do believe in. If you've had an encounter, to get it off your chest and come to me, come to Brian, come to Michael, everybody.
Jerrod? Jerrod, I want to say this while I have it on my mind. What you said was exactly right. And when you share your experiences with them, the things that they will give you and open up and show you, and I'm getting that bloody energy thing going on, like you share and talk truth about them, they're going to reward you with experiences and knowings and teachings and friendship and a magic existence every day when you do that. So it's not just, people say grow a set of balls and speak out. Well, man, the rewards for doing that are just like
Mhm.
unbelievable. Look at the smile on your face. I mean, we can see the spirit of the Sasquatch has touched you.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
the spirit of the Sasquatch has touched Mr. Beans and I, and because we speak truth about them, and they reciprocate.
Mhm.
So, is there something else you
Yeah.
wanted to say? But that's that. I had to put that in there because it's so because I butt in, right, Beans? Basically
Well,
why.
we're doing good. This, we're winding down. It's 2 hours.
That's unbelievable. You're proud of me, aren't you? Like I might be able to actually get under 2 hours. We've never had a show under 2 hours that
well,
we
we could stretch it out.
uh, basically, my message for everybody is, you know, go out there. When you go out to the forest, man, talk to the Sasquatch, speak to them as if they're people, you know. Tell them you love them. Tell the Sasquatch that you love them. They're going to tell you they love you too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how many people that never occurs to them. Never
It's
occurs. Never occurs to them. It's like they get that shell shock of what it is, and then they're imprinted for a long time.
it's like
Oh man,
the
you go out there with that attitude and respect, love in your heart, and all the things that we said, and once that starts happening with you and you're open to it, why would you ever go approach them in any other way?
exactly,
You
you
know?
know. Yep.
And aside
Okay.
from that, there is this upgrade. People who are friends with the Sasquatch Nation, the Sasquatch people, they get upgraded. Their intelligence goes up, their spirituality goes up, their love and compassion for their
The
animals and the
consciousness
nature goes up.
rises, you know. Your consciousness gets risen or rises, right? You're
Yeah.
more consciously you're consciously ascending, right? This is what their purpose is, I believe, right? To help us get to this, you know, consciously ascended beings that we're supposed to be, because
That is exactly it.
we are
Yeah.
we are brainwashed since we're freaking born when we come here. Like the powers that be, they want us to think that Sasquatch are, and I believe that they want us to think that they're monsters, and they put these things in movies to make us think this way because our minds are all connected. And if half the freaking world believes that these things are monsters, and that's what people are going to believe, right? And our thoughts put power to it. So they brainwash us by putting this stuff in like our programming to make us think that way, to control the consciousness.
Yeah.
But they they can't control us, as in you, me, the people like us. They can't break us. So like the Sasquatch is, this is why they, I think why they choose us or pick us, because we're, you know, I don't want to say we're special people because we're just normal ass people, but like we aren't, our minds are more powerful, maybe. Our consciousness is more powerful to see the things that need to be seen, and to listen.
I think
You
I,
don't
I think
you
we can't be I think we can't be corrupted. We're not going to back down out of fear.
Oh man,
We're going to stick out. We're going to stick with our guns. I think that's one thing.
I got another trippy little experience that, and I've told you this one before, and you said to me that was a test of metal, man. Like the Sasquatch, I guess you could call it a bluff charge. I was standing outside in my driveway, and I was standing out there having a smoke. It was probably 10:30 at night, maybe 10 o'clock. The gravel was fresh. Like we had just poured gravel. So it was like you could step on it and you could see the footprints if you were stepping in it.
Mhm.
Because it hadn't been like compacted down, right? No vehicles had really even driven on it yet. So I'm standing out there and I'm having a smoke, and probably about 50 yards away, maybe not even, probably like it pretty close, like the end of my driveway, you know, I hear this, and I'm watching the footprints in the gravel, like coming towards me. And all of a sudden it's, and they're running straight at me. I'm literally watching these footprints in the gravel's moving. It's coming right at me. And it stops as if it was sliding on ice, like skidding on ice, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
stopping on the ice. It did that in the gravel and was just 2 foot kind of sliding towards me. And it stopped 1 inch from my foot. And I just stood there and I laughed. And the first thing I said is that all you got? And I just started laughing. And at the time I didn't know it was Sasquatch, right? I had no idea. But to me, that was them like going, is this guy gonna freaking let's test this guy right now. We want to know if what's he gonna do when we actually show ourselves to him, right? Like, is he gonna run away? So like
Yeah.
it was kind of like a test for me in a way, I guess. That's how I took it.
Test the metal,
But
yeah.
you know, pretty that was just another interesting thing that happened here.
You know,
In the
I like what
Sasquatch.
I like what you said about the Sasquatch message or whatever, because really their message is what can actually turn our consciousness around.
Oh
Like
yeah.
everything within their core truths that I've been taught, I'm 100% committed to that, that is the answer to how we can, the conscious shift or whatever that we're going through. And that would also speak to what Mr. Beans is saying about why the government and the powers that be would want to kill them off, because they can, the Sasquatch have the secret to break the spell,
Yep.
to break the
Hmm.
spell, to break the programming.
Yep.
They have the answer.
They want us to be slaves.
And the powers that be do not want to let that don't want to let that go. So no wonder they're trying to, if that's true. I don't have any verification, but I don't see why
I've
it wouldn't be. It makes sense that they would be trying to take out something that's trying to wake us up.
Yes, I've always had that belief that the Sasquatch, they do that so that the powers that be, we call that or whatever, they know that Sasquatch are here for conscious ascension and that whole thing, this awakening stuff, and that this is why, they're hunting them and all that stuff, because they want us to be stuck in this program or this slave trade that we have going on here. We're literally slaves for the people, right? These corporations are big times, you know?
I mean, what do you think?
So,
I've heard other people say that we are just like emotional food for like they feed off our pain and our anguish and that or whatever. Like, I mean,
well,
that's possible because I'm not going to get into the experience, but I did have a kind of a vision that kind of went that way where I saw that kind of thing. But whatever. But the point is that there is something that does not want to relinquish their hold on us. And the
mhm.
Sasquatch people, it's a pure and simple message. It's both heart-based, heartfelt, no judgment, no fear, no division, get out of the programming. They have the answer to break us out of that. And somebody definitely doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah,
But it is happening. Look at people in the world, man. And the thing is that even this jibby
100%.
jabby nonsense that we just went through uh, was actually, probably good, because now a lot of people are saying, what in the freaking heck was that nonsense
I
all
mean,
about? And they're starting to say, this isn't right. Maybe there's something not right going on here.
like
So the
we've
darkness
seen
is
it.
coming to light.
Yes, for sure. We've seen it. We've seen it all, right? We've seen this happening, but now everyone's kind of waking up to this stuff, how it's actually played out. I always knew never to take it, man. Never. Instantly, it's no freaking way. Not happening. Whether that
Yep.
was Squatch helping me a load or just my
But yeah,
common sense.
but remember the mirroring thing?
Yeah.
I know another person who claims to be, well, and I'm not going to say it sarcastically, but says they're extremely connected to Sasquatch, and I have no reason to doubt it, that told a bunch of people and got really militant about it that, they had to get the jibby jabby and that, it was, so Mirroring, man, mirroring. You gotta watch out for that. Stick with the core heart stuff.
Mhm.
When you start branching off into all these things that are reflect who the person is that's speaking them, then it gets more from their personal point of view as opposed to the core point of view kind of thing or whatever, if that makes sense. Right, Mr.
Does-
Bean?
Yeah, and I just want to throw out there before once this we're winding down that everybody should go over to check out Jerrod's channel on YouTube. It's a what's the name of it? It's Sasquatch
Sasquatch Confessions. I'm on YouTube, Facebook.
Sasquatch Confessions, and the shows is called Sasquatch Confessions and Friends, which I love the word friends. Anytime you have Sasquatch and friends in the same idea, it's going to be good, because
Yeah.
and they have they've already had some real powerhouse shows on already. So
Mhm.
it's a good channel there for everybody to go check it out. We got about 28 people here in the chat.
That's
Whoa.
awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
man. Hello
Hey
out there.
guys.
Oh, no, 28
Probably
chat.
all Jerrod's guys, because we never have that
James
many.
Wallbank, Lee Taylor,
Wallbanger? James
yeah,
Hey.
Wallbanger.
Shelley
Yeah, that's him.
Schwartzberg, Arla Collette, she's here.
Awesome.
I
Thank
take
you
deep.
guys for showing up tonight.
Hey, we'll
Thank you,
have you on
everybody.
maybe the next
Yeah.
show, Arla,
Brian
but we
Bland's here. I can see Brian Bland.
I figured we'd have a throwback show and just have the original
And
Pork and Beans boys on tonight.
Mike Adams, thanks a lot for the show last night, Mike. Yeah. And then there's Lawrence Callahassan.
That's my brother from TikTok. He goes by Killer Clown over there. My brother,
Uh,
Lawrence. Thank you for being here.
He wants to know. He wants to know if we know anything about the shadow people who've been sitting on his bed every night.
I've had experiences with shadow people, and I mean, I do know that Sasquatch can show themselves in this shadow form as well.
Yeah.
But I had an experience once with a shadow person, which I don't believe was Sasquatch because it was a negative experience where I was sleeping in my bed and there was this figure standing in my room that was darker than dark. And at the time, I was definitely going through stuff in my life where I was, using drugs and, anything really. I mean, it was that time in my life. But I'm lying in my bed, and in this room where I slept, you would always hear things like, say, this can of pop is on the counter. You hear like it's sliding around in the middle of the night, or like a cup or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It would happen all the time. And one night I'm laying on my back, and I can see this figure, this humanoid shape, standing in my room, darker than the darkness in the room. And I'm looking at it, and I go, okay. So I roll over onto my side. I roll over. I'm now on my side, not on my back. And this entity sits on my bed and leans against my back, like as if I could 100% feel it. Right? It sat down and leaned right against my back. And again, I'm like, okay. So I roll over onto my stomach, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go to bed. So I try to go to sleep, and whatever it was punched me in the back of the neck so hard that my neck like jerked back, and I was like locked in this position for like 20 minutes, and I was just like stuck there. So like I don't know, that's not Sasquatch, but like there's other stuff out there. I don't know what they are, man. I don't know. But that was an experience that I had with a shadow person, and it wasn't a good one, right? So
No.
I don't know what that was though, right? But people do experience Sasquatch. Like I just read a book. It's actually sitting right here. It's called The Sasquatch People, Guardians of the Earth.
Well, that sounds
And
cool.
it was speaking about this woman's experiences, and she talked about seeing Sasquatch in her house every night as these shadow forms on her walls moving around. She ended up having many experiences with Sasquatch, but her husband could never see them. The shadows, he could never see them. but she could see them every single night they were there. But the husband never seen
He
them
never
once.
even seen a shadow, or he couldn't make
No
anything out from the
shadow,
shadows.
no shadow at
He
all.
didn't see
couldn't
anything.
see nothing.
Wow.
He could see them every night. They were there every single night. Yeah.
Now
So
that's that's another step up. Like, I mean, at first I thought, well, he could see the shadows, but he couldn't make anything out of it. But he couldn't even see that. Wow.
yeah, yeah. So it just shows you like Sasquatch can come to you in many forms, man, and not even be in a form at all. And still come to you.
They can come to you in any form, like a raven, a human being, an owl, and that's another whole show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shape shifting and that kind of stuff, and thought placement, and yeah. But
It's
anyway, I'm
cool.
sure we're going to have another show with you.
Well, boys and girls, I'm gonna call it quits.
Yeah. No, I'm going to wrap it
Sleepy
up, Dean.
time for me. It's 12 o'clock. I'm sleepy time.
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to do it officially.
I'm just like a little baby.
I'm going to say we'll probably have you on a lot more, because from what I see, your journey is just like developing like constantly.
Yeah,
So you're going to have
more.
constant updates. And let's
Go
get
out and
together.
have
Like,
more experiences, and
let's get together soon. Like,
throw in a few fake ones just to get
I
the
guess it's got to be the weekend for
controls wound
you.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
A few fake
Well,
ones.
we'll
What, just
talk
to spice it up?
Yeah.
We'll do it. We're gonna meet up soon, bro. I know.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So,
we'll chat about it. We'll chat about
okay,
it.
yeah. So on behalf of Port Cunningham and the world's handsomest man, the guru of love, Frank Oliver Beans, this has been the Pork and Bean Show. Thank you, Jerrod Taylor. Thank you all your gang for hanging out in our chat and making it the most successful chat ever, I think. Well, we maybe not comment wise, but volume wise. And we will see you all next time this Monday, or no, this next Tuesday, when we have old friend Carter Bouchard back on again. And he's always got a few
Man,
stories.
he like starts his own printing company. He's got so many books now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jerrod. Thanks, everybody. See you
You're
all
welcome,
later.
guys. Thank you all for watching. Watch out.